All right, here we are, game number 1 of this losers quarterfinal match, Febuary versus Leiarealms. Snake versus WeFid, it's a Neoh matchup, that's for sure. Leiarealms getting these volleyball snipes going, getting the better end of most of these projectile trades so far. Consistent failure, working on finding his momentum here, getting into a groove. WeFid's definitely an awkward character to adjust to. All right, deep breathing's on deck, 152%. That's that puts basically everything as a kill. So very nice grab there. This failure stalls out the deep breathing. All right, and just like that, consistent failure manages to find the stock and totally even this game up. Nice deep breathing off stage. Good damage from that aerial. Ooh, very nice C4 there. Consistent failure actually finding the second stock and taking a stock lead here. Leiarealms gonna have to make an adjustment. Ooh, there it is. He catches the roll with the up tilt. Consistent failure, really solidifying it towards.
Stop battle. We betray them. Snake. 3, 2, 1, go!
Alright, both players are just slugging it out right now, these projectile trades. Who's gonna lean in to make the big play first? Failure putting the pressure on. Leiarealms manages to get around the Nikita, but takes a lot of damage for it. Can't get in and stay in to make the deep breathing count. Oh! That was not a good exchange for Leiarealms there. Consistent failure taking the first stock. Consistent failure just refusing to interact with deep breathing, and that is a wise decision on his part. Ooh, backyard trades the grenade. Leiarealms getting the better end of it, tying up the stock count. Oh, goes for the spike, but ends up getting counter spiked. Consistent failure's specialty seems to be that fair as he's coming back to the stage. Comes out so deceptively fast. Yeah, little bird. We have multiple Wii Fits here in the Neoh. So good pop in Leiarealms for sure. Consistent failure really nailing these Nikitas right now. Putting the screws to Leiarealms. Does manage to even up the stock count. Both players last stock now, but Leiarealms has had consistent trouble closing the gap in percentage. And we see it every time Leiarealms manages to get the deep breathing online and is within inches of potentially swinging the momentum. It just gets outboxed by consistent failure on the approach and ends up eating tons of damage for it. He's definitely up there.
Stop battle. We fit trainer. Snake.
Yo yo.
I have returned from my AM bracket run, and we're ready to see. Wait, consistent failure and
Leiarealms.
Leiarealms. Gotcha.
We're in game number 3. Consistent failure sort of had a stranglehold on the set so far.
Yeah, it's like I feel like every single time he gets Leiarealms off stage, it just feels like he's able to apply more and more pressure because he's picking up on all these habits, and it just doesn't feel like Leiarealms can do anything other than try and toss it. Is it like a medicine ball or something?
Volleyball, soccer ball,
whatever it is.
Everybody calls it something else.
Yeah. But it just feels
But
like...
yeah, it seems like he managed to get like 50% every time he gets Leiarealms off stage.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like Leiarealms like keeps on like trying so hard to get an opening to use deep breathing. And every time he gets the deep breathing off, he approaches to like win some neutral with it and get some momentum. And he just gets outboxed and ends up taking a huge amount of damage, and the deep breathing is over before he gets out of it.
Yeah,
like, he has not, like, once in the set so far, managed to get a good, solid, like, sequence in with deep breathing on deck. Like,
yeah, no, it's been really apparent. It just feels like even, I mean, granted, it's not as apparent now, but I felt like earlier when you were starting to talk about that, you just saw him trying to hit with the volleyball or whatever from across stage. Like, he wasn't even willing to approach, which is very different from the beginning of the set, where he was trying to run him down and try and prevent him from throwing nades and everything, but he was just getting blown up every time he did. So now it's like he can't win if he approaches and he can't win if he stays away. So it's like, what does he do here?
it's like, at least twice I've seen, like, he gets the deep breathing, goes for an aerial approach, and just gets F-tilted as he comes in for it. Like, oh, that... No plan survives first contact of the enemy, I guess. Like,
yeah, like even here, like James was able to just kind of wait it out at the top of the blast zone, and even when he did manage to get in James was able to use down tilt, or like the hitbox shift on down tilt and stuff to just avoid any damage that was kind of coming in. So he actually is taking
there it
the
is.
lead here.
He took the lead there. He managed to sneak in the deep breathing back air. Gosh, I couldn't come up with the term for some reason.
I'm kind of wondering though how, because even with having the lead, I wonder how he's feeling, because it just feels like this entire game, consistent failure has been just applying so much pressure that even when he is having that stock lead, we question like, how long is he going to be able to hold on to that for, just because of all the stuff that CF can do when he's off stage.
Yeah, he's really struggling against Nikita, I've been seeing.
Because this was the same issue that like Snake was having earlier when he was playing against Joker, where it's just like the recovery's so slow, you know, he can't really do much if he decides to throw out a projectile or something off stage like Nikita, especially something as good as Nikita. Like, what do you do with that? It's silly.
Well, like, I mean, a couple times I feel like I've seen Leiarealms go for the up B when he's really close to the stage and get hit by the Nikita. When he was in range where he probably could have just directional air dodged and not gotten hit by the Nikita.
Yeah.
Like, I understand not wanting to take the risk of, like, just barely not reaching, but, like, you're...
Ooh! Manages to take the game.
I'm very impressed. The momentum was just not going in his favor for most, but
I think that he's just going to need to play very, very patient with this game, because I feel like when he tries to rush in is when he really ends up getting all that damage off, or consistent failure ends up getting all that damage off. So if he can just like wait for that opening rather than trying to force one, I think that's going to be big in trying to maintain or like stay in this game.
yeah, one of the big things about like playing against Snake in particular is just like, it's one thing to like conceptually know and say like, oh, I need to hang back and play slower. But unless you know how to play slower against Snake, he can make it very difficult for you to do that, just pestering you with grenades. And if you don't really get the rhythm of what you're supposed to do to respond and keep him out and not get blown up constantly, then he can punish you for doing the thing that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's... God, even here, it's like you feel like you have an opening on Snake, but with how fast nade pulls are, it's like you can't even really... Unless your combo is 100% true, you run the risk of just getting blown up and then Snake getting a reversal or some... Or, you know, just hitting you with back air or something, and then you end up taking 30% for trying to get a combo on Snake.
I mean, grenade pulls frame 1, yeah, but really no such thing as a true combo. It's faster than air dodging. Which, balanced. Balanced, Sakurai. That sounds super balanced.
Thank you.
Like, just on paper, like, oh, it's faster than air dodging? Well, why?
Looking at you, Pyron Myth, with your, with Foresight. It's kind of... It's a little bit of a silly thing. Oh!
Boom! Off the top with
nice
the volleyball. That was nice.
I was honestly surprised, because I feel like this, for a lot of this game, whenever he throws those out, he hasn't really managed to land a lot of those, especially when trying to hit him from up high. So I'm a little surprised he managed to get that. But this could be the beginning of him starting to understand, like, if he can get a handle on those jump patterns and start to nail those from a distance. Wii Fit Trainer has a lot of strong tilts, so like if he can just rack up damage from afar without having to deal with a lot of Snake's more explosive combos up close, he might be able to clutch it out.
You can see that, like, at a distance, like, Leiarealms is having trouble figuring out how he's supposed to out-tempo the projectiles, because he keeps on, like, finding that once he shields the first grenade, he no longer has frames to throw anything else, and he just has to shield the next few things, and he's just constantly behind on the tempo.
I think a big thing is just the fact it's like a really simple way, is especially when Snake is just camping from the other side, you kind of just have to move forward a little bit just so you can get around, because if you wait too long and if you just stand in place, obviously you're going to hit the one that he throws straight.
Oh, very nice up there. He really had to work to find that opening.
Yeah, no, he really... Leiarealms is starting to really find his own in this match, and granted, he's still getting caught by those grenades, but not as much as he was. And he's still maintaining a pretty strong lead, though. With Snake, you never know, just because of Like you have up tilt, you have down air, you have back air. It's just
He's doing a much better job of avoiding the kill moves and actually sneaking in his own. Like he's not winning the majority of neutral exchanges. He's just being decisive enough. Whoa!
just
Man,
run up and
deep-
forward tilt, I guess.
Deep breathing is kind of nasty. I'm not only I could have told you. He's less than 100, I think. That was a sneaky stock.
It kind of felt like what we were talking about earlier, where he's kind of finally figuring out, okay, this is how I kind of work around grenades, and this is how I kind of, even though I can't directly keep up with the pace that they're coming at, this is how I kind of get through them. So I think that if James doesn't adapt and kind of change up his timing with his projectile throws and whatnot, he's not going to be able to hold on to this set.
3, 2, 1.
Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Ooh, really nice
Oh,
start.
wow.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of risky with that up B. I feel like that's another situation where it's like it's another situation where he could have just air dodged in. He risked getting hit by something, even though James or CF didn't manage to punish it. It's still situations that it's too risky, especially with the set.
Well,
count
this is
being too-
potentially big here.
Yeah, he just can't seem to get down.
Oh!
That forward tilt taking the kill.
The last little sliver of deep breathing there manages to steal that stock away.
You can kind of feel CF is starting to get really, really antsy. He doesn't want to fall behind, knowing that this could be the very end of this is kind of set match.
Yeah, just like that, we've gone from what looked like it was going to be a 3-0 to Leiarealms up ahead in game number 5. Like, it's really been an impressive adaptation.
I think that, or I guess one thing I'm kind of worried about is that I've seen it in his last few games. CF, whenever he ends up in a situation like this where the sets end up getting closer and closer, he has a tendency to he tries to go for all these cheeky reads, or he'll try and read a roll and get a smash attack or something like that, and it just
That was
like
bait. That was a good bait.
with these adaptations, I feel like these kind of nervous habits might end up getting him in the end, and it's already looking like it might be costing.
Oh!
Still manages to get back.
He managed to avoid the janky spike hitbox there on the.
It's too bad he didn't follow up with that that second forward tilt. Manages to get it there, but too far away from the edge to be able to get the kill. Doesn't get the follow.
Really good delay there. F-tilt's still not enough yet.
It's starting to just stale at this point, but
Yeah,
just
but
get the
he
hit.
need to just go straight forward instead of trying to mix it up. That 170 though, it's all
Yeah,
asking a lot to hold on to the stock.
really scary, especially with deep breathing still on deck. Though I think it should, but now
And
just reverse edge guards and gets the down air.
he took a page out of Consistent Failure's book actually with that reverse edge guard spike.
Oh yeah, with all the forward airs he's been trying to do. Wait,
Yeah, Consistent Failure has been showing that off as like his signature in this bracket, just like leaning in towards the stage and forward airing. Good to remember, Leiarealms is still only on the second stock, and Consistent Failure is on their last stock,
Luckily,
potentially of their whole tournament.
Snake is pretty heavy, so even with deep breathing, he might be able to hold on for a little bit longer. Though this could be it right here if he's not careful.
Oh, if that back air had been like a frame later, that would have probably been game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially because deep breathing anything is just scary. Like, what do you? Oh, nice tech. Manages to get back, but does not get the punish on the.
Oh,
tilt is
very
decent.
nice dash dance into the F tilt.
Reverse 3 on Leiarealms.
Wow.
Watch your
Very good
posture.
play.
Keep those glutes tucked in.